Our project for this period is a game called Sulfur. Sulfur is an open world ARPG. The basic idea of our game is that you spawn in the world and try to stay alive. You can fight the enemies that are spawning around the world with items and protect yourself with placing walls. We used Unity as our game engine for the game. Version control was handled with GitHub, using the GitHub desktop app, of course. And for project management we used Trello. GitHub brought us some problems in the project. For example, GitHub didn't want to merge some branches because of some Unity files, but luckily Unity's own merge tool saved us.
Then a little bit about world generation. So here you can see how the world is being generated. When the player moves, new chunks are spawning in, and the chunks that have been loaded and now are too far away from the player will be deactivated. The world script contains a couple of noise maps that are being used to decide which type of tiles are being placed. Chunks are a single game object that contains 3 tile map layers. Those tile maps are a way to point out what tile goes to where. So we have the bottom layer, middle layer, and top layer.
For resource gathering, you start by collecting twines, pebbles, and vines to make the first tool set, which you will be using to start the item progression, which goes from makeshift to scrap tools, and then you achieve the iron tools, but for those you're gonna need furnace and workbench to craft them. Some items can be achieved through killing enemies, such as goblins.
In addition to resource gathering, there is also a combat element to our gameplay. As our main focus was in building and resource gathering, we didn't want to make a traditional combat. Instead, we used the same building mechanic for attacking because of its modularity. We call it action indicator. We are able to change the size, speed, damage amount, and the time it lasts. This is great for making different types of weapons and attacks in the future. Enemy behavior includes wander, aggro, and retreat functions. By default, the NPCs wander around, and when approached, they run towards the player and attack. If they get injured enough, they will flee for a set amount of time. NPC behavior has also been designed to be modular. For example, their detection range, health, and damage output can be easily modified, among other things.
As for making sprites and animations, we use Blender to model and rig all our characters here, and then we animate them because it's easier to do in Blender. After that, we render the image sequence according to its size in the game. For example, the player is 32 by 32 pixels.
After that, we import the file to a sprite, and we can do minor tweaks and fixes to it there, because it's easier that way. Also, all the items and basic materials and everything are made completely in the sprite.
One thing to take in note that this is not final version of Sulfur. We are hoping to continue the work of Sulfur as far as we can, because we believe Sulfur is our hobby. And we hope to see Sulfur in Steam perhaps someday. But for now, we thank you for watching and have a nice day.